Hello everyone. Today's video, I just really want to start off by asking y'all a question, and that is, how are you feel about your life at the moment? How do you feel about the way that you are spending your life at the moment? Are you feeling content? Are you feeling happy, fulfilled? Or are you feeling lost, disconnected, unfulfilled, and just like life is passing you by and like everything is very plain and this magic is just lost in life? Because what I see around me in the past, months, years even, is so much disconnection. I feel like we don't actually feel alive because we are in here so much in our heads. I feel like we are spending our time on simply useless things. I'm talking about distracting yourself. The useless things are the distractions. So the first question I ask you in this video is, are you happy with the way you are spending your life and your time right now? And this is because I see most people in my environment spending their time on useless things, useless activities that are actually not making them happy at all. And these are things like scrolling on TikTok constantly or playing games constantly. Activities that give you short-term pleasure but are literally going to make you feel miserable in the long run. Why are these things making you feel miserable in the long term? Because with things like scrolling on TikTok, you can keep going. And be honest with yourself. How much of the things that you have seen on TikTok do you remember? Has it made any positive impact on your life? Maybe some things were funny or inspiring, but a lot of this content is just, how do I say it? It's just useless. It doesn't have any goal, any purpose. It doesn't bring anything special into your life. And the biggest thing that scrolling is doing is just making us less able to concentrate for a long time. It is also making us enjoy life overall less. You know why? Because we get so much dopamine from scrolling on TikTok. Because our screen constantly changes. We constantly see new things. We get new stimuli, and this is just one of the worst ways to give our brain dopamine. Our dopamine runs out so quickly, so we can't get it from more boring activities that are actually also fun if we didn't have these very stimulating things. Things like just reading or making a walk in nature, just looking outside and seeing the sunset, enjoying a meal. It all won't be as fun anymore because we're used to this much dopamine that we get from these activities like gaming, watching TikTok, maybe even things like smoking or drinking. And I am not saying that we need to cut out these things completely, even though I don't watch TikTok at all anymore. Actually, I don't really watch short form content most of the time. And let me tell you, I feel so much better. I do consume a lot of long form content on YouTube, but long form content and actually also like movies and stuff are way better for your dopamine because you need to concentrate for a longer amount of time. If you watch this content instead of constantly short form content where you can scroll every second, that is way better for your concentration and it doesn't give you as much of that dopamine. I just want to ask you this question. What are you achieving from scrolling on TikTok all of the time? And I know it's easier said than done to just say like, put it down. We literally automatically pick it up now and we go to this app and we just scroll for no reason at all. Something we really need to learn is to just sit with boredom. It is okay to be bored. It is so healthy and necessary to actually be bored sometimes. But in this day and age, we can distract ourselves anytime, and that is so unhealthy for us, for our mental health, for our intelligence, for our concentration, for our enjoyment of real life. Genuinely, what are you achieving by watching TikTok all of the time, other than just feeling drained when you're done scrolling for hours? Think about this. When you're feeling very tired and you think like, I should do something for school or I should do something productive. It is so easy to just lay in your bed, lay in your couch and just scroll for hours then. You're just distracting yourself because you don't want to start to work for school, for example, because maybe you think, oh, it's going to be hard, there's too much resistance, and then it is so easy to distract yourselves with all this technology. But how do we feel afterwards? More anxious because now we've wasted a lot of time that we could have used to work for school. And now we need to do it last minute. We feel actually more tired and drained because scrolling is not resting at all. It's just stimulating our brain more and it's just making us so tired. So what are we achieving with this? I really, really, really invite you to just first of all replace scrolling with another activity. Maybe start with, instead of scrolling, watching long form content on YouTube about topics you are interested in, for example, like self-development or whatever you are interested in, or by reading. And if you are able to actually replace scrolling with a better activity, actually start to learn to be bored. Maybe start with just a couple of minutes that you're just sitting in silence, you're just looking around you and you don't do anything. A lot of people just can't do this, just be alone with their own thoughts. But this is the most important thing ever. Because then you're going to unlock your creativity. You're actually going to get to know yourself better. You're actually going to be able to listen to yourself more and what you actually want out of life. Because a lot of you all also are not in touch with what your purpose is, or you just don't pursue it. What are you going after in life? Maybe you're studying right now. What are you studying for? Is it something that your parents told you to do? Is it just something that you thought, oh, I'm just going to do that, it seems interesting. But now you are like, I don't really like this. If you are studying something that you're very passionate about, I think that is very, very amazing. Go for it. But I think a lot of us are not happy, or we're in a job that we don't like. But who says we have to do that? We are also in a world where there's a lot of abundance and we can actually achieve a lot more than we think. But it starts with us believing in ourselves. What is that thing that you always love to do? What is that thing that you actually want to pursue in life? And be honest with yourself. And then start thinking or start looking up, what can I do with this thing? The thing that you actually love to do most, your biggest passion. You can make something with everything right now. You can teach that thing to others. You can make videos about it. You can start a business. There's so much that you can do. And it seems so overwhelming when you need to start. But if you actually take a little tiny step every day towards your goal, you will get there. It doesn't seem as scary anymore. You need to stop scaring yourself by thinking, oh, if I want to start a business, I need to do this and this and this. No, just start with the first step and stop thinking about everything that you're going to need to do. That's also a problem. Now we always want instant gratification. We can't wait on a reward anymore. When we are craving something, when we are craving dopamine, we can get it any second of the day. We can just go on our phone and start scrolling. We can get food anywhere around the corner. And we cannot wait for something anymore. We need to learn to actually wait for the reward. Because if we think that we are going to achieve something overnight, we're never going to be able to achieve big things, because things like this take time. Building a business takes time. Becoming an influencer takes time. Becoming great at something takes time. And this requires way more discipline. And now we can't wait anymore, because we have access to those dopamine stimulating activities any time of the day, but you need to learn this again. Set your timer for like an hour and start and study, and if you actually complete that, then you can get a snack or something. Start to do things like that again, and realize that if you want to go after your purpose and you want to achieve something big, it's not going to come overnight, and the process is a very big part of it. Actually, the journey is like the whole thing. That is the thing you also should enjoy, instead of just thinking, oh, I want to get to this goal. Okay, I'm literally all over the place with this video, but I just think that a lot of us are distracted because we don't have a purpose in life. We don't have something that really fulfills us. Maybe we have a hobby or something, but we're not really going after a goal that excites us just very much. And this doesn't have to be anything special. If you just want to study for something that you're very passionate about, a thing that is seen as a normal 9 to 5, that is actually amazing, because I feel like social media makes us feel like we need to be special, we need to become an influencer, we need to start a business. But that's also not true, because we need a lot of people in this world that are actually going to do certain jobs that we need to study for, you know what I mean? We need to have doctors, we need to have lawyers, we need to have teachers and all of these things. And if you are actually passionate about the thing that you're studying for, that is so amazing. But I feel like a lot of people are just doing something that is not for them and that they are not happy in. And maybe they feel like they want something that is just out of the ordinary and people are going to look weird at. Maybe you want to make videos, maybe you want to start a business, maybe you don't want a regular 9 to 5 or do what your parents told you to do. And if you are not pursuing that, I think you have that void inside of you and you want to fill that, and you're just going to distract yourself and ignore that part of yourself and then start to go towards all these distractions. And I think that is something that we really need to avoid. We need to actually go behind our purpose. We need to have a full life, have hobbies, have a goal in your life, build relationships, fulfilling relationships with people that you can relate to. Stop living this disconnected life of just being on your phone all of the time and just partying, drinking all of the time, using substances, being very closed off, not actually building deep connections with people, because that is not what is going to fulfill you. We are so disconnected from the things that we desperately need. Deep human connections, actually having conversations with people, even people that you don't know, being very interested in those people. And actually, if you start doing this, you feel how fulfilling it feels to just have a simple interaction with a human being, because we need human connection. We need deep human connection so desperately. Actually, build deeper connections with people. Make new friends. Talk to random people. And don't have that wall up. Be vulnerable with people, because we need that. And the second thing that we also need so much is just nature, being connected with nature, going outside, hearing the birds. If you don't do this, you don't realize how much of a difference this makes. And also, third, we need to be present. We need to actually be present more. We are so distracted. This also goes into distraction. We are not here, you know what I mean? We are always, or we are thinking about the past, being sad about past memories, or we are thinking about the future and being anxious about that, or we are distracting ourselves. But how often are we actually sitting, looking around us, focusing on what we are feeling, smelling, and not being in our head, but being in our body? And that is just the whole thing of feminine energy. Being in our body, being in the present moment, being in your authenticity. I hate it. I hate it how disconnected people are. It makes me genuinely so sad. Everyone around us is on their phone. And when I was in my teenage years, I also was like that. I was also addicted to my phone and on it constantly. And I still have my moments. Because obviously it is just so hard to not be on it. Because first of all, everyone is on it and we copy everyone else. And it's just simply super addicting. So addicting. But it makes me very sad, because I love to talk to people and form deep connections with people and just be present and get my mind off all these dopamine stimulating things. And I want real dopamine. I want connection with people. I want connection with nature. I actually want to enjoy the simple things of life. But so much in this world is just distracting us from that. And that is actually making us so depressed. Why do you think mental health issues go up? And I don't have to say this. I think that we all know this, but what are we doing about it? We're just giving on to it, and we're just giving the people that actually want us distracted, we are giving them the power. The people that want to keep you on these devices, they are winning right now. You are giving them your time and you're just wasting your life on that. And I believe that there is room for these things. there is room for maybe scrolling now and then. There's room for playing a game and watching TV. But I also think that that is so much more special to do with other people. I honestly barely watch television. I actually never watch television alone. I sometimes watch something on my computer, but that is like also very rare. But I think like just watching series or like playing a game, it's just so much more fun to only do that with other people, because then you're not only getting like your dopamine from that thing, from the activity itself, but actually from the human connection, and it feels so much better and also feels so much more special in that moment because you don't do it all of the time. And also, honestly, something that I noticed, so I don't really watch short form content anymore. And if I go on TikTok or someone is scrolling on TikTok and I'm just watching with them, I'm like, I genuinely don't like it anymore. If I scroll like 3 times or 4 times through my For You page, I'm like, what am I doing? What is the fun of this? I don't see it anymore. But I also used to be addicted to this. But I genuinely believe if you understand what's behind it and if you get off of that addiction and replace it with other activities, you actually see that there are so many more fun things to do. What do I replace it with? I replace it with my hobbies. My hobbies are dancing, genuinely dancing, reading, making YouTube videos, and just being busy with YouTube and actually watching a lot of the self-development content on YouTube and writing down notes so that I can improve myself. Self-improvement, I think it's the best thing ever. Just learning about it constantly and taking these little steps every day to improve yourself and then seeing yourself grow is just the most fulfilling thing ever. And it's obviously harder in the moment than just distracting yourself. But in the long term, it makes you so much happier. And what the easy thing does, like scrolling, is making you miserable in the end. Choose your heart. Choose your pain. You can choose the pain of being a bit more disciplined and doing the harder thing in the moment, like, for example, reading instead of scrolling, and then in the long run actually feeling better because you did something to grow yourself. Or you can choose the pain of regrets, and it's just regretting your life in a couple of years because you spent all those time scrolling instead of using it for something to better yourself or something that's actually meaningful. That's also a thing I want to say. It doesn't actually matter what you're doing in your life, if it's productive or not, but what matters the most is if the thing that you are doing has meaning, if the thing that you are doing is intentional. A lot of these distractions we're just unconsciously doing to distract ourselves, like scrolling. But for example, there's a difference between actually looking something up on TikTok because you want to learn that. Intentional activities are not only productive things. You can also just sit in silence to calm yourself down, to give yourself more peace of mind. It's seen as not productive, but it's intentional, and you're actually doing it because that is what you actually need right now and not what you are just doing to distract yourself. I'm not saying having just a productive life and being productive all the time. I'm saying live more intentionally. Actually, living life more through your senses, focusing on the present moment and actually seeing the magic of life and actually doing things that grow you, actually doing things that make you feel good, but genuinely good in the long run and are not just short-term pleasures that are going to make you feel bad afterwards. I just wanted you to realize how precious life is. You are the youngest that you will ever be at this moment. You are the most energetic as you want to be at this moment. Okay, actually that's not true necessarily. Because if you would work more on your health, you would maybe be more energetic in a year. But I'm just saying, now you have the most capacity to have the most energy. Don't take that for granted. Do the things that you want to do in this life. Enjoy it. And just realize how precious this life and how magical it is. And we can't waste it. We just can't. We have so much things to see in life. We have so much to experience. We have so much to do, we have so much that we can do, we have so much connections to make, we have so many things to try out, and it's so beautiful. This was probably my most chaotic video ever. I didn't really write anything down, I just wanted to deliver this message, and I have no idea how this is going to look, but that is okay. I just hope this message resonated, and I just hope it genuinely just inspires one person at least, and then I'm happy. I thank you so much for listening to this video. I hope it inspires you in some way. If you love topics like feminine energy and self-improvement, you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.